return it to its original position. And unfortunately, the sound just isn't sharing well over Zoom. And then when I click on the home button, it will take me back to my home screen, where then I can click on the learn more, and I am greeted with a page with some infographics as well as links to Ottawa's recycling regulations. So when I click on sustainable habits, I get this nice infographic about various habits that you can do in your life. When I click on the ways you can help, we have this nice infographic about plastics. And then finally, when I click on the local recycling regulations, it actually takes you to the recycling regulations for Ottawa, so that you can see what is garbage and what is landfill and different schedules and such related to recycling. The advantages of our app is it is very simplistic and easy to use for people with various levels of technological literacy, as well as us using a machine learning for our scanner. It is infinitely scalable to many products as well as to any database size. Questions?
I have a question if I can jump in. It's Robert. Super fun, first of all, statement on the gamified aspect, I think was super fun, especially for kids learning how to manage waste, I guess, properly. Question just about, this is focused for the City of Ottawa, but if you had another jurisdiction that might have different sorting of waste streams, would the app be able to, I guess, adjust for those things? So it would, I guess, call up a different, tell you to put it in a different bin, for example, if someone was sorting waste differently?
Yeah, I can actually answer that question. So for the scanner, Ben didn't show it, but at the very bottom, it actually tells you explicitly what the item is. So plastic, cardboard, paper, so that it can, if you didn't have the same bins, you could put it explicitly in the specific bin.
What's the, do you know what the accuracy of your scanner is?
So presently there are.
Lily, you accidentally muted yourself again.
Sorry, I accidentally muted you, Lily. My apologies.
So presently there are currently around 3,000 images in the database, but we would definitely be looking to expand it to make it more accurate. So we're not 100% sure on accuracy, but with the 3,000 images, it's pretty good.
I will say from my testing, it is generally pretty good. It's amazingly good at doing paper, and it's pretty good on the other three. You just need to make sure that it's held in just the correct angle, but you can play with it and it'll change and tell you what its results are based upon how you're holding the object in the frame.
Thanks.
Sorry, I probably missed it in the beginning. Did you say that your app is for kids only, or who are your users?
Our target demographic is that it could be used by anybody. And the idea is behind it that people of any ages can use it and try to learn at least something about recycling and get so that anybody can learn about recycling and what they can do to help make the earth a better place.
Thanks.
Matthew, did you have any questions? We've got about two and a half minutes. The way it works is there's be 3 minutes for presentations and 5 minutes for questions. If there's any questions, more questions from the judges, if not, I guess we'll go to the next group. And you sure you want to?
One more, David.
Okay.
What I guess what happens if there? So this works by barcode. Is that correct? Like if there's a new product that comes out, or how does it? I'm not familiar with any of this, but how does it detect it?
It works actually off of image shape, size, color, texture, and basically any category that the image recognition software can actually pull out of our database of images.
So like it compares it to a database of images. And it
yes.
Says, I think it looks like cardboard, must be cardboard. It's cardboard. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess the question is then, I guess it's trial and error then, like if in the future, if a product comes out that is an error in the app or doesn't match one of those database pictures, then you tweak the database.
Yes, it would just
Something.
become putting more images in the database.
Neat.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Group C1. So the next group, I believe, is Group C3, Recyclic. Again, when you share your screen, guys, make sure you click the sound box if you want to share the sound in our presentation. So C1, are you ready? And if you're not presenting, guys, please put yourself on mute.
Excuse me, David. Can we have say 30 seconds to put down the?
Certainly.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, guys. Just give the judges 30 seconds to capture their results. I see beautiful bird sound from somewhere.
Yes, that would be our app running in the background.
Nice. There's actually studies that show the natural sounds make people less stressed. Who knew?
Yeah, I've been listening to it in preparation for this presentation, so it's probably helped a little.
And the reverse is true. Apparently, the noise that humans produce upsets large numbers of wild animals.
I'm good.
Okay, we'll take another 30 seconds. The rest of the judges could finish up their evaluations. We will move on to Group C3, Recyclic. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, so this is our mobile device application called Recyclic. Today we're just going to go through some short information on how we went through the design process. Then we're going to go over a demo, and then lastly we'll open the room up to questions. So first of all, we needed to figure out what the problem was. The problem was we wanted to create a user-friendly app where users could remove the tedium from sorting out their recycling items. So we wanted to have an app that promotes user engagement and promotes the use of our app, as well as works effectively as a sorter for recycling items. So what we decided to do is to benchmark a few other apps that are on the market to sort of figure out exactly what we wanted our app to be able to do. So that brings us to our solution, where I'm going to open up our demo. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our app running in the background where we have a nice 3D scene. And the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is our scanner. So every time you use the scanner, you're going to see a little counter up here that goes up by 10 points. And when I use the scanner, I have to actually turn off my video here to use it here. Just give me 1 second. You see in the viewfinder, I show up there, and every time I'm gonna take a plastic bottle and I'm gonna hold it in front of the scanner. It's kind of picky on the angle sometimes. Oh, there we go. It's not working now. Hold on. There we go. It was working a second ago. Either way, we're gonna move on to our cardboard. Picks up cardboard pretty well, and for sake of demonstration, we'll go with a piece of paper, and it recognizes that immediately. So we're going to return back to our application here, where I'm going to use our watering can button here to spend some of those points that we've collected. And as you can see, as I spend points, we're going to add things to our scene. And as you add things to the scene is going to become more beautiful. For the sake of demonstration, the scene has already been mostly completed, just to show off sort of what we've been working on. If I open up this next button here, it's going to bring us to the news tab, where we have the ability to look at the recycling restrictions for Ottawa, as well as the global news page for recycling news. If I take a look at our settings here, we'll have the ability to mute the game sound, reset the progress in the game. You can share this game through different social medias, and you can also provide feedback in the form of an email to the team. And that's going to bring us back to our presentation, where I'm going to hand it over to Moyan to explain why we should use our app.
So why Recyclic? Our app is enjoyable, accessible, user-friendly, uses an AI-powered scanner, works on both iOS and Android, and obviously Instagram-worthy. Thank you so much for listening. Now for any questions.
Go ahead, judges.
What were some of the challenges you encountered using Unity as the development tool?
So one of the main challenges we actually had with that is we were hoping to implement our scanner to be directly in the app rather than opening it up on a separate page in the browser. However, the trouble with that is the TensorFlow code that we used for the AI is coded in JavaScript. And if you know anything about Unity, it only works with C# script. So it was kind of difficult, and we tried to figure out a workaround, but the best workaround was just to host it in a web page for the time restrictions we had.
And I'd be interested to hear about the training process as well, like image data set size. If you have numbers on accuracy, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So as you notice the accuracy there, I mean, when the plastic water ball and then testing it worked perfectly. But the accuracy is highly dependent on lighting and everything like that. And as you noticed, this isn't the ideal situation because I've got my face in the background. Typically, you'd want to have a fairly flat background to show your items off. But our data set size was about 2,000 pictures, about 500 of each different type. And basically the way you work it, the way that it works is you add those pictures to your database into the classes that they are in. You set your number of epochs, which is like the number of times that you're basically going to pull a certain number of pictures that the database then tries to guess from that group of pictures which it is, which like class it belongs to. And then from there, it would figure out what sort of and then from there, it would like train itself to figure out that based off of whatever picture you supplied it at the end user. So that's basically that training process. In the future, I would add more epochs and train it for longer with a more powerful computer, as well as add more pictures to the database that it's pulling from.
In terms of the like the gamification mechanics, I thought it was pretty cool. It was almost like one of those passive clicker games where you're kind of building up this space. What other mechanics do you think you might introduce in a similar vein?
Yeah, so I mean, given the time and resources, we would obviously want to improve that mechanic and add more items to pop into the game. But one of the things that we could also add in is different resources for the user to collect based off of what items they're scanning. So like if we wanted to say they scan a cardboard, they get one type of resource that maybe spawns more flora and one type of resource that spawns more fauna, and then do it that way. Different mechanics like that would be relatively easy to implement, but would add more complexity and more reason for the user to want to keep returning to our app.
All right. Do we have another couple of minutes for questions?
What would be the outcome of the game? Like after people having the object associated in your game, like what do you think that people actually will use it for?
The reason for the game is, I mean, it's one of those things where people just like, at the end of the day, just like to have a little game to mess around with on their phone. But it's also one of those things where you'd be able to share that screen and that scene that you've made with your friends by using our share link. And as well as when you reset the game progress, if you're done with the game, it'll take a screenshot so you'll remember your progress and how you've helped improve this little virtual world by also improving the real world by following your recycling restrictions. So that's sort of the main idea that we kind of wanted to go for there.
Thank you.
All right, time for one more question, and then I'm going to give the judges a couple of minutes to complete the evaluations.
I guess a loaded question. How do you translate people scanning and identifying waste to people actually putting it in the right bin and getting it in the system properly?
That is kind of a struggle for that. The app right now is just basically essentially taking, every time they open up the scanner and they're using it, it adds points to their game. But yeah, the trouble is we don't actually know if they're putting it in the right bin. You know, in the future, maybe implementing something where the user could scan which bin they put it in, and that would be a confirmation to prove that they put it in the correct bin. But for right now, we've decided to just keep it with the simple number of classes. Honestly, that would be a pretty easy thing to implement because you would just have to have separate classes for now, the separate bins. And you could basically just scan the bin and it would basically act as a confirmer for the code. But as
Excellent.
is, it works.
So I'm going to stop you there, James.
Okay,
And let the
sorry.
judges give them a couple of minutes to mark it up. And then we will start the next group, which will be C5 Recycling Buddy. So C5, if you want to get ready, but we'll give the judges a couple of minutes just to do the evaluations. Again, don't forget, if you have sound in your presentation, make sure you just click the share sound box before you did your sharing. I don't know who's presenting, but.
We don't have any sound. So
Okay, okay, Sebastian, perfect.
Yeah, we don't have sound. We're fine.
Okay, got it. And if you're presenting, even if you're on the same presenting team, maybe just if you're not actually talking, put your microphone on mute because we can still hear you. All right, judges. So what I'll do is I'll hand the floor over to team C5 Recycling Buddy. Go ahead when you're ready.
Hello, we are Recycling Buddy. Waste management has become a crisis and recyclable items are ending up in landfills. We asked ourselves, how can we divert waste at the consumer level? Consequently, our team created an AR app that scans items in real time and determines whether the item is recyclable and where to place it. Now, this is important because on average, Canadians produce nearly 2 kilograms of waste per day and only 16% ends up in the recycling bin. Here at Recycle Buddy, we believe that less waste is possible. Now, our app uses AR scanning technology. It functions by scanning an item and comparing the user's object to an image. We created an image database and linked this to our image tracking software. Comparing the item to images of recyclable items allows us to determine its fate. Now, to create a viable solution, we compared other ideas on the market to determine which recycling solution was most effective. Then we compared our final solution to the chosen criteria and the other products. We focused on efficiency, complexity, performance time, cost, as well as size and dimension. Our idea progressed from concept sketches of AR glasses to a physical scanner. Then we progressed to detailed concept sketches of an AR app and finally a working prototype. Now, our final prototype has an accounts page, a settings page, as well as a scanning feature. The user is able to follow a tutorial, report an issue, and create an account to gather points, as well as claim rewards. We will now have a live demonstration.
All right, thank you very much, Sebastian. So welcome to the Recycle Buddy Android app. Let's just open this up. So when you first open it up, it's going to come to our home page, which will allow users to choose between accounts and setting page, as well as the scanner button, which is the largest button on the main screen. Once you click on the button, it will open our scanner app. And as you can see, if the item is recyclable, a large green smiley face with an indication of where to place it in the bin. Now, let's try an item that is not recyclable. So I'm going to grab the stapler over here. So right now it is searching our database to see if it can find an item that's similar to the stapler. It hasn't found anything, so a large red X now appears with a message to say, put it in the garbage. If you're unhappy with the result, you can try again, or you can do a manual search, which will open the City of Ottawa recycling page, which is a manual search function. Now let's return to the presentation. So to conclude, Recycle Buddy is a simple solution that is user-friendly and effective at scanning items. The recycling process can be approved at home, and our application has even room to grow. Thank you for your time, and now we will be taking questions.
Judges?
I'm learning more about AR scanning, which is cool. What happens when, like, I scan the almond milk carton, but it's not made out of thing to go in? It's actually made out of cardboard, but it's shaped like an almond milk carton. Like, is there a challenge there where a product is shaped as something? A product is shaped as a soda can, but it's made out of cardboard. And we're
Yes,
comparing
you're
images of
exactly
shapes.
right.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it comes to image targeting, right, you're comparing images. So one of the larger challenges are if you have similar looking items that are made of different materials.
So how do we, I guess, overcome that challenge? Or
One of the best ways to do that would just to be add more images into the database to try to really refine, I guess, the targeting software. So it has a more likely of a chance to recognize what exactly the item is. There's also the manual search feature. If ever someone is doubting the results they have, where they can just directly search it up in the City of Ottawa recycling search engine.
and I guess your app also doesn't have a game compared to the others that we've seen earlier. So maybe you could talk through the reasons why or why not you may have included or decided to exclude a gaming feature?
Yeah, for sure. So our primary focus, especially talking to the client, was making it as user-friendly as possible. And for this, we decided to make it as simple as possible because we believe that we want to focus on the efficiency of the actual image tracking and the ability to scan. So consequently, we decided to focus on that portion. And we didn't want to take away from the rest of the app itself. We wanted to make sure that people were going there to use it primarily to scan and then not perhaps to play the game and forget about the scanning portion. So we wanted to really focus on the scanning part. And to entice people to come, we created a reward system that works on a streak basis. So if you come back to the app and you use it again, you will collect points and then you will be able to collect a reward.
Matthew, Chris, do you have any questions? You've got another couple of minutes.
Maybe a bit of a follow-on from the previous one, but what was your motivation for using Unity and what were some of the challenges there?
Unity is, we're not experts in programming as we're in first year. And Unity is very, I guess, simple in terms of the capabilities of making a very simple application or a very simple game. It's very user-friendly. So that's one of the advantages why we picked Unity. Some of the challenges were, it's more, I find it's more for 3D games. So making a 2D kind of application outside of the AR scanner was sometimes difficult just to make nice looking UI screens that don't have transparency issues.
Thanks.
Is this only limited to Android or it's usable on both?
So it would be usable on both Android and Apple. It's just I have an Android phone.
Okay, thanks.
Chris, a minute, a question? All right, well then judges, I'll give you 2 minutes to fill in the form and the next group will be C6 Green AR, it looks like. And if you're first person to present, again, if you have sound in your presentation, don't forget to press that share sound checkbox when you first share. Again, we'll wait just a little bit to give the judges a chance to score the previous group.
I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, another 30 seconds, and then you can get going, group 6. Give us another few seconds. All right, so group C6, green AR next. Go ahead when you're ready, guys.
Perfect, thank you. So good afternoon and welcome to our final presentation. We are Greener World and we'll be presenting our final product that was made with Unity. Here you can see our team that developed our product, as we have myself, Monica, Brandon, Kira, and Ethan. And our mission problem is as follows. A need exists for the general public to develop better recycling habits in a simple and intuitive way. This can be done with an AR-based application that will recognize and give proper recycling instructions about any disposable item. This solution must be cost-effective and follow proper recycling regulations according to the City of Ottawa, and is targeted towards users with mobile devices. Next.
Approximately 5 million metric tons of plastic waste are produced each year by Canadians. 86% goes to landfills, 9% goes to recycled plastics, 4% to incinerators, 1% contributes to litter that contaminates lakes and oceans. So some key features of Greener World include the AR image recognition, the point collection system and leaderboard, tutorial video and FAQ section, recycling information section, search button, flash toggle, and collection day calendar. We will now demonstrate our final product.
Okay, so as we head to the app's main screen, this is the start screen, and we'll press the start button to advance to the main screen. So heading to the main screen, we have our main camera, and as an image target is recognized, the Analyze button will pop up. But before we get started, we'll head up to the rewards menu and log in. Here we can log in as Ethan. And now a user for Ethan is displayed with 0 points. Heading back to the main camera, pressing the Analyze button upon an image target will reveal a method of disposal as well as any additional information required for disposal. Pressing the iRecycle button will earn you 1 point towards your total points total. In low light situations, you may use the flash toggle, which will help the camera's visibility. Once again, pressing the iRecycle button to earn 1 point towards your points total. A search button is also available, which will link to the City of Ottawa webpage where you can manually search your object if it's not recognized. Heading back to the rewards, Ethan now has 2 points. Here's a quick glance of our settings menu with a short message from our team. And then heading to the informational menu, we have the average household waste breakdown in terms of bins and also in terms of a pie chart. For the bins, there are examples of what goes in each bin upon pressing the more informational button. On the next page, we have some more Did You Know facts. And there's a When is Collection Day Schedule button, which will bring you to the City of Ottawa webpage where you can manually enter in your address and it will display the collection schedule pertaining to your location. Here's an example for the King Edward Avenue zone with the collection schedule below. And lastly, on the last page, we have the Greener World FAQ with common questions which are answered below. And also upon clicking the logo is a short tutorial video about how to use the app. And that is it for our live demo, and we'll now be accepting questions.
Go ahead, judges.
Just curious about like one of the interactions in the app. So if I understood correctly, you might point it at a can or a wrapper or something along those lines, and then you press the shutter button and it takes you to that screen where you're awarded points and whatnot.
Yes.
I was just curious about your motivation for like that specific interaction, as opposed to like maybe just pointing the camera at something and having the prompt come up or some other way of doing it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the motivation behind that is instead of having like when your camera is aimed upon the target to just have the information pop up, you can press the eyes button and then a screen will pop up with more information. Then you don't have to continuously aim your phone at the target. You can just pull away and take your time to read. It's a lot more convenient than holding up your camera towards the image.
Makes sense.
Question here. I found it interesting, this the section you had just showing the metrics about recycling in Ottawa. And I'm just wondering, with your point system, do you think it would be interesting for the user to actually have a similar sort of metric show up that tells them, how much waste they've put in, how much recycling for blue and green they've done?
Yes, that would be a very great concept that we wish to implement in the future versions of this app. We just didn't, due to the short time constraint, we weren't able to do this. But the idea was to have a categorization as to which types of items were scanned, as in like green bin, blue bin, black bin, and show your statistics upon your user login.
And then you post it on social media and you shame all your friends.
Did you set up a database for the score chart?
Yes, a database is used. We're using the Dreamload database currently.
How does the image that you taken recognize that, which is the main object that you want to actually dispose versus just the background image?
We are using the Vuforia engine with a database of image targets, and upon recognizing the target, there is specific details of the image that will be recognized. As you can see on this pack, the label has a bunch of detail which will be very easily recognizable by the camera.
Is that you link to the Google image?
No, a Vuforia image database.
Okay.
It's the engine we are using for the augmented reality.
Okay, there's time for one more question, and then I guess the judges can have some time to evaluate. Chris, any questions? All right. So thank you very much, group C6, Greener World, I guess you were. And the next group up will be C10, You Oughta Recycle. And we'll wait for the judges to finish, but you can set up in preparation. C10, are you here?
Hello?
Yeah, yes, I can, Johnny. Yeah. So Johnny, you want to share your screen? Don't forget, if you have any sound, check that box, share computer sound as you share your slides.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this.
Okay. Don't worry, we've got a minute or two before the judges are done anyway, so take your time.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, we can. Can you see Johnny's Galaxy. I can see your slides in the background.
Thank you. That's perfect. That's what I want.
Okay. And again, don't forget to tick that box. Did you tick that box if you have sound in your presentation?
There's no sound. So.
Okay, excellent.
We're good.
So we'll give the judges another few seconds before you get going. All right, judges, and do you need some more time or are we good? All right, then. So the next group, please mute your microphone if you're not presenting.
Shall I go? Hello?
Yep, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right. So today we're going to be presenting the fruits of our labors over the past few months. So our app is called You Oughta Recycle, and I'm Jonathan, and my colleagues are Case and Omar. So we're just a group of 3. We're a bit smaller than the other groups. So what is the problem? Well, Ottawa generates about 340K tons of garbage every year, and about 58% of that trash is wrongly sorted. So there's really a need that exists for an educational smartphone application that can accurately identify which bin a recyclable material goes in, and that teaches the user how to recycle properly in the local area. So why our solution over others? The city already kind of provides a solution called a Waste Explorer, but every click that a user needs to do reduces them the likelihood of using a solution, right? So Waste Explorer requires a lot of clicks to navigate all the way to and then type in the name of an item. It's a long process and you're putting a lot of onus on the user. So UAuto Recycle is a lot simpler. It just requires you to open the app, aim the camera, and press a button, and then we'll try and identify where to sort the item into. We also have a backup plan for if our simple process doesn't quite work out or can't help the user in a particular circumstance. So I really want to emphasize that our solution has no internal database. And before delving further into this, I just want to pop up here and show you. So this is our app here on the left. I'm just going to take a picture of this USB stick. And now I'm going to explain what's going on while there's some analysis going on in the background. So once the user has taken a picture, so in my case of a USB stick, the picture is uploaded to and analyzed by Google. Google returns its best guess of what's in the image. So it'll say, oh, I think that's probably a USB stick you're looking at. And then we send that keyword to Waste Explorer. So we'll send the word USB stick, if you will, to Waste Explorer. And then Waste Explorer will tell us, so Ottawa will tell us how they want its residents to sort USB sticks, for example, into bins. So if that process doesn't quite work out, we have an alternative, which is a 21 questions basically idea, if need be. So yeah, that's the basic idea. So I can see here on the right that so part of the problem with our application is that it requires the use of the internet. And because I'm running a Zoom call right now, it sometimes takes a little more time to load than it normally would. So there we go, it just loaded for me. So, so our thing was uploaded, it identified that it was a USB stick, you can see that here. And you can see that Recollect told us, or the Waste Explorer from the city told us to throw that in the regular garbage. So what if that doesn't work? Well, we have an I need more help button on the bottom. The user can go here. Let's say you're looking at books. So is books made out of plastic? The user says no. Are books made out of paper? The user says yes. And this might help. There's a further, we don't have time to go through all the possible questions, but in this case, we've identified that books go in the black bin. So that's an example of how our 21 question system works. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing. That was kind of a backup there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. And always remember, UAuto Recycle.
Go ahead, judges. Nice benchmarking, Johnny. I liked it.
Does the Waste Explorer provide an API for passing requests, or did you like how did you set that up?
So Recollect actually, the city has partnered with a company called Recollect, and Recollect provides an API to the city, and so I just use that API.
Cool. In cases where like maybe you don't have a network connection, how do you think you would go about addressing that?
So our application, the 21 question system, for example, would definitely be a backup plan there, because that application does not require the internet. On the other hand, the uploading to Google and that stuff definitely does require an internet connection. So the best alternative that I can present to you is that we do have a backup plan for those kinds of things where either the app doesn't work, the user doesn't have an internet connection, and that's the questions that I kind of showed off. If that makes sense.
Totally. I'll ask one more. The Google service that you're using to do the object recognition, like what kind of biases do you think it might have? Like, is it is it trained primarily on like American waste products, or do you think there's any biases that using that service might introduce?
Well, our app is definitely more focused on Ottawa specifically, right? So because we're interacting with the City of Ottawa's Waste Explorer. So if it was an American bias, I think that would actually be advantageous, given that we're trying to focus on Ottawa. But I think that Google, generally speaking, sort of just takes images from all over the internet. So if you're in a part of the world with internet access, and it's worth considering there's only about 3 or 4 billion out of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, right, that have access to the web. So as long as you're within like that sort of, section of the world that uses the web, I think that the application could work quite well. And we could, partner with other cities that have Recollect as the API, because there are other cities other than Ottawa that uses Recollect.
Nice. Yeah, hard to do better than Google generally.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Google, that's for sure. We training our own system would have really been inefficient because, of course, you can't beat Google's. At least I couldn't do that in 3 months. So.
Outsider question, or statement first. Cool name. Really like needs a drum beat after it for sure. To mitigate the internet access issue, might there be a way to learn or have it learn for like the most commonly recycled or most commonly discarded, I guess, the most common waste elements, to sort of have a short list of things or a short database of images that Google would have to search compared to the entire internet? So you're hitting like 90% of the most common things.
Yeah, so if you wanted to, we could definitely build out the application to have like 2 databases. We really wanted to focus on a solution that was not hard coded to like specific items, because we wanted it to be really like just a general solution, right?
Yeah.
That could work on everything. But yeah, like you said, we could hard code specific items in, but the whole reason we didn't do that was to be more broad and more general, and definitely, consider everything instead of just a few items, right?
Nice. Good work, especially since you only had 3 people. The next group then would be C11 / with a slash. Nice. If you want to share your screen ahead of time, the judges will be a couple of minutes doing their evaluations. Again, make sure you tick that box, Shauna, if you want to have sound in your video.
We don't have any sound, so that's
Got it.
right.
Oh, I get it. Slash, because it's your names. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Nice. All right, so another few seconds, judges, or if you're ready, we can start.
I'm good.
Okay, everybody else good? All right, well then, go ahead. Again, this is group C11 /.
Okay, hi everyone. Our group name is /, and we've made a product called AR Recycling. Our product is an easy, reliable, and cost-effective method to encourage and teach people to recycle in the Ottawa region.
Our group performed some benchmarking to find some similar apps that met the client's requirements. These apps were TL Waste, Recycle Nation, Bin the Trash, and Have You Heard? Unfortunately, none of these apps met all the requirements, as some were not Ottawa-based, didn't have AR features, weren't user-friendly, and weren't exactly practical or educational.
So our solution was to create an app and a website, and I will now present a demo of the app. So as you can see, it opens to a main screen that has 3 different options: sorting, scanning, and learning. If you press on the sorting, it brings you to our manual sort menu, where you can click a category and it'll show you where those items can be recycled with an image and a picture to tell you how to find the location. Or you can type into the manual search bar and search an item and it'll show an image exactly where that item needs to go. Alternatively, we have our scanning, which brings up a AR camera that scans barcodes and tells you where the item needs to go. Finally, we have our learning screen, which shows a bunch of websites for people who are interested in learning more about recycling. And that's our app.
And next we will show you the demo of our website. So here you can see there's the homepage with general information about waste management in Ottawa. There's the manual sorting page, which has a button step-by-step breakdown so you can find which bin your item belongs in. If you can't find your bin here, you can also use the search bar. There's also a maps page with 2 maps. One is a special recyclables location map where you can find your location and it gives you information on what can be disposed there. There's also the waste bins on campus map, which has all of the waste bins on the University of Ottawa's campus. There's the games page with a sort the recycling game, an education and news page with 4 links to external resources, a discussion forum for users to post on, comment, and like other people's posts, and the members page where they can manage their settings and their notifications.
So for future plans for the app, we plan to implement a clickable drop-down menu for the search bar, expand the database for the manual and AR sorting, add games and a social system for the app. And for the website, we plan to expand map regions, add additional games, and connectivity with the app, as well as more educational resources. Any questions?
What were your motivation for having both an app and a website?
Well, we wanted to increase the accessibility for everyone. So I know personally my parents, when they're recycling, they usually go on the Toronto website on their computer that's in the kitchen. So this means that not only do they have access to the app on their phone, but they will also have access to it on a computer or a tablet, or even kids, before they could get phones, they can access this website and play the games and start learning more.
Awesome.
I liked that users could do a simple text search. I think that's a good quick function as an option. Question about the barcode scanner, which kind of links to an earlier question I had for another presentation. Like, what are the challenges or limitations about scanning barcodes versus scanning shapes?
With a barcode, part of the advantage would be that it's a distinguishing feature that's already used widely with many different products. So the advantage is that it's very widely available and it's a distinguishing feature that's easy to recognize. However, probably one of the disadvantages would be, let's say if you're taking like a takeout meal, having the box, it might not have a barcode. For a case like that, then we have the manual sorting feature that allows users to quickly search it up themselves if there's an object that doesn't have a barcode.
Second question, if I may. I liked the special recyclables feature that was on the website. Would that be available in the app as well somehow?
We're actually hoping to link the website to the app as well, so you'll be able to access the website straight from the app. But in future, we would like to implement that map into the app as well.
I don't have other questions, but I do echo the same comments in terms of special disposable map that you have provided on the website. So that's a good feature. And the same question that Robert has already asked about the barcode. Thanks.
Okay, we have time for some more questions. Judges, if you had any, 2 or 3 more minutes. All right.
How was the, I was going to ask, how was the app developed? Shouldn't be too long a question.
Yeah, so the app was developed in Unity, and then all the databases were made through Unity with C#.
Great.
Just to expand upon that, for the AR scanner, we used the Vuforia engine to get the image targets.
I was curious, how did you get the research on the API that the various City of Ottawa uses? How did you figure that out?
So ours actually does not use that API. What we did is we went onto the Ottawa website and found, made a list of some of the most common ones. And what I did was in C#, I made my own database that has its own list of items that each item is tagged as either recyclable or not recyclable and a location where that item would go.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions, judges? If not, you can start your evaluation. All right. So the next group then will be, thank you very much, C11 slash C13, Bin Z or Bin Z recycling. Again, if you have any sound in your video, make sure you tick that share sound box before you share your screen.
Can you guys hear me and see the screen?
Yes, we can. We'll just wait for a bit though, I guess, Omar, because the judges are still evaluating. But yeah, we can see you and we can hear you. You can see Bin Z recycling easy slide.
I'm good.
All right, so another few more minutes, judges, and then we will get started. Do you need more time? I'm not seeing any nodding heads. May, are you good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, well then go ahead. This is once again is group C13, Bin Z recycling.
Hello, we are Bins Recycling, and we made recycling as easy as a 3-point shot. Now, to the average citizen, recycling is a confusing pastime that takes far more time and effort than most are willing to put. As a consequence, millions of tons of recyclable waste are being put into landfills unnecessarily. Our client, Mitch Burchard, asked for an application that assists and encourages people to recycle and make the whole process a lot easier and more accurate. His main focus was simplicity and ease of use. And this is where we come into play by creating an augmented reality recycling app called Bins. The app's goal in improving the recycling of citizens is of great importance, as accomplishing it would reduce the amount of waste that ends up in landfills, reduce CO2 emissions, and even potentially result in economic benefits like reducing production costs involving raw materials and creating recycling-related jobs. More people recycling properly will amplify the scale of these benefits. With this in mind, our app is intended to be used by a wide audience, consisted by anybody needing a recycling aid and owning a mobile device. In terms of hardware, users are required to possess a mobile device with a functioning camera. The app functions on iOS versions 11 and over and Android 7 and above, and requires minimal storage. Why Bins? When you compare us to our rivals, Junker and Eugene, they both utilize AR scanners, but both have issues such as being available only in Italy and requiring an $80 subscription. But when it comes to the real stuff, Bins is in a league of its own. Let me explain. The core and flagship of our app is our scanner screen. Through extensive implementations of the most advanced tracking methods provided by Vuforia, a fully highly accurate scanning system was established that is capable of accurately scanning any object on its way, making it miles ahead of the nearest competition. Not only does it beat rivals when it comes to scanning, it is also 100% free of charge, and the app does not require internet connection. Let's say you're a person who does not like scanning. Well, Bins has an alternative, a manual search browse page. Here you can type in any item name and you will find how to recycle it. Even if you don't like typing, you can go through our pre-created genre of sections, both of which are connected to the Greater City of Ottawa Recycling database, and we can guarantee a 95% accuracy rate. Feedback we received from various testers suggested that they found the app easy and effective. And let's say you're a person who doesn't like, you like numbers and statistics. Well, we have you covered because we have a dynamically independent graph and weekly list showing items that we've recycled. Enough about me talking why Bins is the best. Let me show you why it's the best.
Issues we were having, we're going to be sharing from desktop instead of mobile, but we have tested mobile.
This is Bins. It consists of 5 main subsystems: a user page, which shows you a breakdown of previous items that you recycled and a score; a statistics page with a dynamically updating graph; a weekly list of items that you recycled; the brains of the app, a manual search browse page. Any item in mind will be found here, and it will show you what it is, what to do with it, and most importantly, in which bin to shoot it in. The flagship of the app, the scanner screen. Point anything at it, and it will scan. An urn, a calculator, a yogurt container. Bins has the potential to scan anything. To the right of that is an options page where many things can be changed. And since the app is directly for the Ottawa region, the entirety of the app can be changed from English to French and vice versa. Bins is on its way to become ahead of its competition, making itself become the symbol of recycling. Thank you.
Here, judges, I want to buy one. Where do I get one?
It is
Well, you
currently
mentioned-
available for iOS and Android, and it's ready to be published.
You mentioned you did some testing and you have 95% accuracy. Can you talk a little bit
Yes,
more about
so
that and how you tested and
So this is some of the feedback that we got from Evan, who's our TA, and Juan, which is a Unity developer, and Julio, he's one of our neighbors. And the 95% accuracy rate comes for our search browse page because it is connected to the City of Ottawa database, which gets its information directly from that. So any updates that happen in the City of Ottawa database is automatically updated on our app. With scanners, we can guarantee a specific number, but we use the most advanced tracking methods such as 3D object tracking, image tracking, and cylindrical tracking, which can decipher any object and tell us what it is and which bin it goes into. For further developments of the scanner, we plan to implement image tracking for both logos and barcodes. However, we didn't see consistent numbers with them, so we decided to shift them over and work and have more time to perfect them.
Nice to see some evidence of testing with users for apps. Excellent. Judges, any more questions? 3 more minutes.
I think I saw a flash up on the screen that you had like a confirmation when you were
Yes.
to
So
confirm yes
as
or no
soon
if
as
you've
you
actually
scan-
recycled the thing.
So as soon as you scan an item and it displays which bin it goes into, the app will give you 5 seconds and then it will display a message that says, did you recycle this item? If you click yes, it will tally up the scores of the items that you recycled, and as well as updating the graph and the weekly list that is already implemented into the app. And if Noah, if you want to share back the statistics page, because we did some testing, the graph did change and the weekly list did update.
Yeah, so to elaborate on what he said, the reason there's a confirmation is because some people might look up how to recycle an item, even if they're not wanting to recycle it, and they might not want it to count towards how many items they've recycled on any given day. So that's why we ask for confirmation.
Can the statistics be shared back to like, the city?
Currently, they cannot. They're only in the app itself, but that is for future developments, of course. This is some of the future developments that we plan to implement.
Okay, well, if there's 1 more minute, if there's no more questions, judges, you can evaluate group C13. And the last group then to go will be group C4, which is Sort It or Sort IT, as the case may be. So again, group C4, make sure if you have any sound in your video that you've checked that box when you do your sharing.
Can you see the screen by
You can
chance?
see it, yep. Kyla, or
Perfect.
whoever was talking, Sydney, yep. Again, we'll just give the judges another minute to finish their evaluations, and then we'll get going.
thinking out loud, I'll take some space for a second just to say that that last comment you made, May, about the feedback back to the city is probably really helpful, just for the city and the municipality to then understand like what areas of the city might have challenges with recycling properly or whatever, and then maybe there's more education or something that might be helpful, a bit more of a targeted approach to seeing where we have success and where we don't.
Yes,
That'd be really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a good point in general when you do a design, guys, right? Have multiple users and they all have different requirements. So the city of Ottawa, I guess, could be a user, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yep, that's it.
All right, so let's say 30 seconds, and then we can get going on the last presentation, which will be Group C4. All right, judges, are you good? All right, let's keep going. Last one. Nice presentations, guys, I would like to say in general. So Group C4, finish us up.
Okay, so welcome to Sorted. I'm Daniel, and me and my group members, Kayla, Sydney, and Amar, are going to show you what we've done to combat recycling items mismanagement. So what's the problem? So like I said, people put items in the wrong bins, and what happens with these items, they usually end up in landfills. So what we did to combat this was create an app, which would help the user sort their recyclable items, put in the correct bin, and make sure they're recycling properly.
So before we made our product, we wanted to see where we were in the market and who we were competing against. So we did a benchmarking table, and we took up 3 competing apps, such as Region Waterloo WasteWiz, Recycle Coach, and Ottawa Collections Calendar. And we compared it using specifications, as you can see on the left side there. And then on the right table, we compared it based on how important we ranked those specifications. And as you can see, our app is clearly in the lead. So that was what we did for benchmarking.
Okay, so for our functions, our main functions is we wanted a scanning operation. So it would be able to scan household items by labeling them either black bin or blue bin for the city of Ottawa. And our app also incorporates AR, as you can see in the photos. Our app also includes a game, a sorting game. That's why we are called Sort It, where you have to put the item into the right bin. It also has multiple levels, and I will demonstrate the app right now. So this is what our app looks like. So you'll get a daily bonus at first, and you can claim the coin here. We do have a currency within our game. So you can, within our app, we have an awards and achievement page where you can buy backgrounds. You gain milestones by scanning items, and you would have a check mark up here. And this is your coin count at the bottom. Returning to the main screen now, we're gonna go to options. You can put in your name and address for the calendar and to have a better experience with the app. There's also a volume right here. We do have music within our app. It is not playing right now, so therefore you can hear me. Returning back to the main screen, there's a help option over here where if you click on it, it will tell you about each page and how to use it. Going back now to the main screen, we have our game function. So in our game function, if you drag to the wrong bin, it will actually go back to the initial position until you put it into the right bin and you gain a coin. Moving on to the next level, drag it into the wrong bin. You don't get a point, it goes back to the initial, and then you put in the right bin, you get a coin. Now going to the scanning option, you can see when I hold this box up, it will be labeled black due to the bins in Ottawa region. So it'll let you know to go to the black bin. So now moving back to the presentation. So why Sort It? The app is very simple. It's a small game that also entices users to play. There's rewards to help motivate the users to play it, as there will be coins and there will be streaks and milestones to help the user play. There's also a calendar that will let you know when you can recycle each day, and you can put in your address as it shows in the options page. It's very simple, and the recycling day is a reminder.
Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Judges, go ahead.
If you were to for a potential future release of the app, how do you think you might expand on some of the game mechanics? Like if you could add something now, what do you think you would?
Personally, I think we would add more levels to the game. Currently, there's not as many levels as we would hope. We would also want to add more objects that it would actually, Vuforia would recognize, because it currently does not recognize as much as we would want it to. And we would just probably keep expanding on top of that.
To add on to her point, we also wanted to link like the sorting section to the game. So when you scan the item, you'd guess where it goes first, and this can help like develop where things generally go, and you can learn it yourself. So we want to do that at the start, but we couldn't really get to work.
Awesome.
I guess to expand on that, like how do you keep users engaged with the game if they keep collecting coins and coins and coins?
With the coins, you can actually buy certain things. Right now, you can purchase different backgrounds. We would also like to expand upon that, maybe different objects within the game. As you could see when I was dragging and dropping items, there was a cereal box and a juice box. Maybe they could customize their items that they would like to drag and drop.
And to also expand on that, one of the ideas we had earlier on was to create a leaderboard. So in your, say, city, for example, Ottawa, you could have a leaderboard that would compare everyone based on how many objects they sort and how many coins they have or points that they could get. So that was one of the ideas that we presented, and that could be implemented into the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, just thinking about like the social aspect of it then, not to, I mean, it's one hand you can gloat across your friends about how great you are at recycling, but on the other hand, like, again, that educational component about, you know, eventually there might be a master of one of these games who's like, man, I learned how to recycle everything, and let's share that knowledge so other people can learn from that, right? I think that would be an interesting next step for all projects, is to think about like how we then disseminate the stuff that people are learning through the app to other users. A quick question I had too was just the address input. I thought was an interesting thing, tying that to the waste calendar. And I know the City of Ottawa app tells you when it's your waste day. And I'm just wondering if since this is the last team, and this just occurs to me, but have you or any of the teams frankly thought about like how your app might remind you to get that stuff on the curb and get it in the system, right?
Well, I guess we could have like a notification system, which would tell you like, hey, recycling's tomorrow. Remember to do that. We haven't really developed that though, and that would be like way in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, interesting idea though. You're right, Rob. All right.
It's just interesting. All projects are super interesting. I just wanted to say like that's kind of the one challenge for me is to try to
remembering.
It's great that we're identifying everything.
Yeah.
And even so, step one, identify it. Step two, get it in the bin. Step
I know it's in the black box now, just to remember to put it there. Yeah, and get it out. That's a good point. All right, I think guys, that's it. So judges, you'll have a couple minutes. I'm going to create a so to all the teams. Thank you. Your presentations were excellent, and the timings were almost perfect in every case. So well done. And what we're going to do now, judges, is I'm going to put you in a breakout room, and you can deliberate, and I will join you there. And everybody else, you're welcome to stay here and discuss or whatever. But I'm going to, again, just starting up the breakout rooms as I speak. First, I've got to make sure you're actually all in the right breakout rooms. So, how do I do this? right. Nicole, thanks for joining us from the City of Ottawa. I hope you enjoyed the presentations. You're not a judge though, right? You're just here as a guest?
That is correct.
Excellent. So you're welcome to talk to the students as much as you like. I'm going to go join the judges in the breakout room right now. Students, any questions?